Good morning again. Well, it's been suggested I try to say something about thankfulness this morning. I've got in mind a lovely old hymn that I learnt as a child. Now thank we all our God with hearts and hands and voices, who wondrous things hath done, in whom the world rejoices. And so on. People get very confused, don't they, about the world and say, well, why does God allow it to be like this? Why do we have this virus, and why is life, in a way, so often seems not something that we want to be thankful for, rather the opposite. And why should we thank this nameless whatever it is called God? Well, yesterday I talked a bit about getting the orientation right, accessing this unchanging reality that sort of complements the changeable world. In which we really need to get a balanced view of life. So we then see the transitory on one hand and the eternal on the other, but coexistent, like two wings on a bird, without which the bird cannot fly properly. It gets out of balance. In the line of that poem it says, now thank we all our God who wondrous things hath done. Well, in this world we have, as it were, two creators. We have the original world of God, which perhaps we don't know too much about, and this secondary world that has been filtered, as it were, through the mind of man. And so we see man's projection onto this original world, onto the original pure existence. And the distinguishing mark of man in his present state is that he is separate. He feels himself separate, and this is due to what we call the ego, which is the I, me, mine. So we have the situation of I am here and God is, well, where is God? God is, as it were, a nebulous something which isn't exactly here. See, I am separate from God. And this is really the cause of all our trouble. Because as thought is creative, and it most surely is, see, every time we think I'm separate and I'm lonely and I'm lost and I don't know what to do, this is projected out into the world just as like a film or something, and this infects, just like an infectious disease, infects the world with our disease, and its disease is the lack of ease, is the lack of our comfort, because we're separated from God, who is the source of all goodness, all providence, in which we lack nothing. In this world we lack everything, don't we? Because we're separated from providence. So we project out onto the world, this veneer of need, which is an infectious disease just as much as coronavirus is, and in fact a good deal more deadly and dangerous than anything we call coronavirus. Because this is what causes death, not only in ourselves, but in the nature that we infect with this disease. Death came into the world with sin, and sin is the basic step of turning away from God. It's all, if you don't believe me, it's all there in the good book, in the first chapters of Genesis, very clearly explained. But if you don't believe that, well, just look into your own experience. Just see how it is. Be still and sense that oneness with God, as I spoke about yesterday, and then start worrying about the world and see how you lose it. And the more you worry, you spread it around all about you, because fear is contagious, isn't it? I know we're all meant to keep separate, but if you start talking on the phone or something and swapping the latest corona news, you'll absolutely forget what I'm talking about, and you'll just be building up each other's worries about this infection. So, what about being thankful? Do you want to be thankful for that? Well, it depends. It's stretching the elastic a bit, but if you consider it a lesson, a very good lesson in what happens when we separate from God, then good for you. Then you may indeed be very thankful that all these so-called curses of life are in fact blessings in disguise, because they illustrate to us the perilous state of man once he turns away from eternal life, where there are no problems. I assure you there's no disease in spirit, no viruses to worry about, absolutely nothing to hurt us whatsoever. So, come back to that. And then, my dears, you'll find not only are you at peace and bubbling with joy, but you'll be full of thanks. You'll be overflowing with thankfulness for the wisdom and the mercy of this that we call God, who allows man to make such a fool of himself, and yet keeps the door open for man to return home. And for this, thank God. Is that enough for today? God bless you, my dears. God bless you. Until tomorrow.